Welcome to Partner Tech Talk with the Oracle Database Development Team. The concept behind Partner Tech Talk is to reach out to our partner community to respond to frequent questions and discuss topics of interest that we're hearing from our partners. My name is Kirk Gustafson, and I'll be your host today for Part 3 of our Database 19C Partner Tech Talk series, featured exclusively on Oracle PartnerCast. I've invited my colleague Sean Stacy from our Database Product Management Team to join me and discuss another key performance feature of Database 19C. So with that, I'd like to welcome back my colleague Sean. Sean, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me back, Kirk. And I'm looking forward to telling you more about 19C performance.
Okay, great. Well, let's jump right in and talk about another great performance feature that people and partners are talking about, and that would be automatic indexing.
Wonderful. Yeah, so automatic indexing is a very big feature in Database 19C. It's actually part of the foundation of our autonomous database. We actually provide you with the ability for the database itself to detect and create an index that it thinks can help the performance of an application. So what we do is we've built it upon existing technologies so that when a workload is running, behind the scenes we're capturing SQL tuning sets of this existing workload. And we then determine if a series of statements have executed more than once. So we're not just going to do it on some ad hoc random queries, but actually going to use it on transactions that we're seeing are being repeated. We will identify whether these particular operations could benefit from an index. So once we determine that, the database will actually go ahead itself and create an index that maps to these statements, a candidate index, and it will actually create this index as unusable and invisible, meaning that it doesn't physically exist, and so the optimizer can understand its structure, and it's invisible, so the optimizer won't in fact use it unless it's hidden from the optimizer. It won't use it unless it's actually directed to use it. Once we've done this, we'll verify. So once we've created this index, we'll then verify that a particular statement can benefit from using it. So we'll go ahead and test it, and we'll make it visible for that operation. And if we see that the optimizer can benefit and that statement will in fact run faster, or those series of statements, we'll go ahead and implement that index. Now, if we find that there is a negative impact and nothing benefits, there's a negative or it doesn't benefit at all, we'll actually blacklist that index and keep it aside, knowing that that's not a suitable candidate. The flip side of it, though, and what we often see is where in making this decision, we see that the bulk of the statements have benefited from this index, and we mark it as visible for all of those statements. We may have an outlier statement that comes along and is negatively impacted by that index. And in that particular case, what we do is rather than have that sacrifice all the other benefits that we would have seen, we mark that index as invisible just for that statement or series of statements. And we continue to online validate this, and we monitor the index usage over a period of time. And we keep this available, the information on the history of we found a candidate, we tested it, we saw it was blacklisted or it was beneficial. We keep that in views that the end users have access to and can query.
Okay, well that's fantastic. I've got a couple questions though.
Sure.
What if a newly created index doesn't get used, or what happens to it? Will it stay there in perpetuity?
Good point. So yeah, there is definitely going to be situations where we may, based on that SQL tuning set, create an index that we view as being a suitable candidate, but it turns out that that index doesn't get used after a period of time. In that case, what we do is we'll actually track the usage of that index, and if we see that index is not being used for 373 days, so a year and a week, after that point, we'll then go ahead and drop that index ourselves.
Okay, so when you run it, will it delete the existing application or the customer-created indexes?
Good. Another good point that I failed to mention. Yes, so the indexes that are created by this utility or this feature are secondary indexes, not primary key indexes, and we do not touch any customer or application indexes that are created outside of this system. Now, we do allow you with we give you the ability to implement that if that's something you view that you would want to test, but we do not turn it on by default.
Okay, so this all sounds great. Have you had any feedback on the performance?
Yes, we've actually, you may be aware we have a few applications ourselves. We've actually been able to test the feature against our own internal applications or our applications that customers use. And we've seen really positive results. Across the board, we've seen very good results. And these are applications that have been around for over a decade with years of database administrative skills applied to create these indexes in these applications. We've seen very good results.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, Sean, thank you for coming back and talking about automatic indexing. It really seems like it's going to be a game changer. So we've run out of time today. So please check out our other videos in the Database 19C Partner Tech Talk series. So thank you for listening, and goodbye.